I'm the founder of a coffee business. We have a roastery, and I'm also the barista in our coffee shop. We try to always have the direct contact with the farmers we work with, and then we roast this coffee in Germany, and we sell it both to private people but also companies. I come from an entrepreneur's family, so I always also as a kid already knew how the work of an entrepreneur is, and after my studies I worked for some years in the project field, and I had the possibility to meet a lot of young people that also started their company, and from all these contacts I could get informations, and I could also get ideas. And after came a point when I thought, okay, now I have all the information I need. For me as an entrepreneur is really important to find their own passion. So entrepreneur's life is not easy, and of course there are sometimes difficult, but if you really love what you do, then you always remind yourself why you're going through all the difficulties. This is the core of our business. We try to build a deep and good relationship with customers, with the people we get our coffee from, and everyone that works or is in contact with us. Hi everyone, I'm Elisabetta. We are here in Nagata. It's our coffee shop, as you see. Here's the place where we meet and greet our customers, and it's also the place where we roast our coffee, so almost everything happens here, and of course you're all welcome here if you come to visit us.
Hello, my name is Christian, and I'm very happy to share some of my experiences with you. What you have to know about me is that the last years I'm the chairperson and I'm the co-founder of StartUpcycling e.V. We are an NGO that is specialized on education and training, and we give training education to people of all ages. What is the basic? We are absolutely sure that everybody has a value and everybody has something great to share and to give. But of course we need to support each other, we need to help each other to bring it out, to bring it to the light, and to bring it at the service to the others. So what we're talking today, it's about business and startup. And I started around 3 years ago, in the field of education of business and startup support. So I'm not only teaching or going for the theory. I also have my own 2 startups. One is now 3 years old, it's an engineering office with really good friends of mine. And another one is dedicated to tea and coffee. So, what we want to do now, based on my own experience of starting a business, also the suffering sometimes to start a business, and together with a lot of friends that are specialized in different fields, we run with another NGO an incubating program for young people that are on the way to build up a startup. And my target is mostly that I try to support the people, I'm with them, to find what their personality has to do with the business. And somehow, if you want to be successful in a startup, you need to really connect yourself with the business idea you have. And that is somehow my speciality. I'm not the person so much in business plans, but I'm much more, or I have my competencies in what's about you, your connection to what you are planning, your vision about the startup. You want to change the world somehow, because if not, it's not a social startup. So if you want to come up with a startup, there are several competences and capacities that you need to be successful. And that's what we want to talk about. And there's one that is really very special, and I think the most important. Let's say 2. You need to be passionate about what you're going to do, and you need to have this really strong will to be independent, to take the best out of you, and stand it, because being an entrepreneur means you're the last one standing, and it's only up to you to take over the responsibility and push your business. This being independent is being independent and knowing how to decide. It's one of the most important things talking about startup. So now, as you see, we are coming to the night. Light is going down. So let's go ahead, taking those topics inside, and I show you 3 important things of what startup is about. So now we find ourselves in a very nice startup, in a tea house, about people that are passionate about tea. And they realize their passion by running that nice little tea house here. And I'm a guest, and I use it just to go ahead. So today we talk about 3 main topics. First, what inspires me to run a company? Second, how can I take a decision? And the third one is, what are my fundamentals from personal side that help me to set up a company? So let's start with the first topic. What inspires me to start a company?
Hey, my name is Jonas. I'm the co-founder, one of the co-founders from the New Engineering GmbH in Germany. We are a small engineering office, and we are doing consultancy for big companies. We explain them how they can reduce their energy consumption to become more energy efficient, and how they can use the renewable energies. That's what we are doing. So the question why I am doing what I am doing is pretty easy, because I believe in a world with 100% renewable energy, and I think this is the most important question for me as an engineer right now, is how we can supply all the people with electricity produced by renewables. So, but why? Actually, there are many big companies doing projects and products when it comes to renewables. So there's a second big question why I decided to do this in my own company and together with friends. I think this question seems to be a really big question, but it is actually not a big question, because if you're questioning yourself to do something, you should always ask yourself the question for a certain time, for a certain period of time, and not like an absolute question for a really big one for your whole life. So the idea is to do something by myself and self-responsible, and this is actually right now, and also when I decided to found this company, it was the right thing to do something self-responsible, like in a maximum way of self-responsibility, and to be more creative, to design my own structure of working in the field of the renewables. So guys, if you need an engineering office or help in the field of the renewables, we are here for you.
The example of Jonas shows us his inspiration, how he came to the decision to start with the company and also to find his topic. So when we talk about inspiration, I mean, all of you know that you cannot force it. Inspiration comes up when you somehow are relaxed, maybe when you have a walk, when you take a shower, maybe when you are in the process of close to sleep, you know. So inspiration is something that you have to be sensible for it, and that you have to give it a space, you know. So one thing is also very important. Of course, the more experiences you have in your life, the more knowledge you collect, the more interest you show for life, the easier you get the inspiration. That means when you are looking for the topic, what is my topic for business? What is my topic to start something new? You should go for that inner inspiration where your passion is, what you're passionate about, what fascinates you, in what kind of things you are interested. And then maybe you start to get a feeling for it, a thought comes up, and that is the path you should follow. And then you come up really to the situation that, yes, I should go for that or for that or for that. And then it will be connected to your inner experience and to what you really are passionate to do and what gives you the strength to stand it. So, the same important it has to know about our passion or to be passionate, the same important it has to know about our strengths or our weak points even. Working on our weak points and knowing about them can bring us to real strengths, because it's important to know that we are not Superwoman or Superman, and knowing about our weak points brings us to really strengths, because it makes us somehow adults with what we do. So, going for your passion, finding your inner strengths, try or find a way how to deal with your weak points is a very important fundament. And something is it's quite clear that all of us are, or all of us have the potential to start with an initiative. And that means self-efficacy, that you really take in your hands responsibility. That means that it's the fundament of entrepreneurship, and go out, start up with what you want to do, and then it comes the business plan and all the rest. But it comes in when you took over the responsibility to start and to get in with your strengths and with this capacity to know yourself and to work on yourself. But so the question is, how can we find out what we want to do, and what maybe is more difficult, what can bring us to decision? How can we take decisions? And that is exactly, I think, one of the most important things we should learn, and always go on learning how we take decisions. When we are starting something, and it's not even only for business, look for a relationship, whatever. Taking a decision is one of the most important things we should learn and we should know being adults. The decision must be related to ourselves and to the surrounding, and it needs to bring us to a next level. That means a decision must be we should be clear about what the decision is about. Let's say, of course, maybe sometimes we take wrong decisions, or in the end we find out, oh, that wasn't the perfect way. But if we took the decision quite aware of the process and quite aware that we take the decision now, knowing that it's only a limited knowledge we have or a limited overview of the situation, but we take it consciously, then in the case that that was not the right decision, we can say, okay, now I know. But in the moment I took the decision, I was responsible. I took it aware of myself, of the situation, of the people around. Of course, there are a lot of techniques and methods and knowledge around decision making. And it's good. The more knowledge we have, the more different approach to the thing, the better it is, and everybody finds what fits to himself. I want to give you a special approach that helped me in my life a lot. So, decision making is part of a mental process, and I want to show you what is behind this mental process. Okay. So, as I said, a decision is part of a mental process, and being part of that, I want to show you two components of our memory and mind. And these two components are so-called the explicit or the declarative and the implicit/emotional memory. I want to present you the explicit and the implicit memory. So, the moment we come to a decision, our brain uses two ways to evaluate a situation or the option we want to take. One is the explicit, or also called declarative memory. It is expressed in a simple way, the logical approach to the situation. We think about it and we are able to express the thoughts with words. Somehow we reason about the situation, we can discuss it and come to a logical, rational solution. The second player in the decision process is the implicit, or also called emotional memory. It referred to our experiences in our life and the lessons learned out of them. It based on our emotions and an unconscious approach to it. If you talk about your decision process, you express words like I feel that, I should decide like that, or my instinct tells me, and other expressions like that. So, in the new picture, you see that if you have a look at it, the explicit memory is like the control center of our logical thinking, while the implicit memory gives us access to the whole amount of experiences in our life. So, if you compare the two ways of mental approach to decisions, like the emotional and the explicit, the logical, we are mostly taught and trained to go for the logical approach, for the explicit memory. We are very often said, oh, but these emotion decisions, maybe you can use it when you fall in love, or when you have to take a decision for your hobby, or when you are passionate about something. But to be honest, this implicit memory, the emotional memory, is so useful and such a treasure because it's based on the experience of all your life, and it's much deeper. It gives you a deeper access to decisions. Of course, you need both. You need the balance of the two approaches to decision. No? But it's very important to give our emotional memory a chance and give it a view. And then check out, of course, with our logical thinking, if these emotions are really bringing us in a growth. So, in this picture, you see a very nice elephant and a small boy sitting on the elephant. So let's say, in fact, the implicit memory is much bigger and more powerful, like the elephant in the picture. It is clear that the elephant is stronger than the child, and the child represents the explicit memory. So you see the child is sitting on its back, but in fact the child controls the power of the elephant, and it's the best case together, like when they run. When they work together, they are able to move big things. Maybe better we don't think about the case that the child loses the control about the elephant. So, I mean, if we stay in the picture, it's clear what happens. So, it's very important to balance it and give both a view. I had to stand up a little bit because our friends from the startup of the tea house, they closed down because somehow they need a rest. And let's say, so we were talking about decisions, and now let's come to the personal fundamentals of our company. Of course, when we look for the personal fundamentals, one thing should be really clear. A good business is only a profitable business. That means only if you're able to obtain winnings, to go for winnings, you have a healthy company and you are able to save the planet, if this is your target. So, a healthy, economically healthy company is the fundament for everything, because we are talking about business. So that must be clear. And on the next level, and that somehow is the same important, and I'm sure that it brings you to also an economically healthy fundament, are three things that coming more from the personal side. First things is the values you have. Your company must be somehow in line with your values. Second thing is the motivation. You should know why you are motivated to run the company. And the third thing is to have a clear vision and a clear target, what your company is about. So let's say, if decision making is one of the fundamental skills to come to your company, the values and these soft skills somehow, they are the important fundamentals to run it and to come to success. So let's start with the first aspect, which are the values. So our values actively influence our actions. So it's very important to bring them in line, let's say our values in line with our actions, to be permanently successful. Of course, not everything in life can be 100% perfect. That means we have to do compromises, because maybe it's not possible to bring our values and the need of acting for running the business, that we bring them always 100% together. But so taking compromises, it's a capacity we should learn, and we should also be relaxed about it. It's important to know that when we are working on bringing our values in line with our actions, that we are aware of that it will not work, because mostly reality is a bit different of what we like it to be. So that means that we need to be flexible and also ready to take compromises, to make compromises, because in fact when we want to go ahead, compromises are what we need to do. But a compromise is good if we know that we are doing a compromise, because then we are aware of it and we are self-efficient. We are the masters of our life, and that means that we get into the flow and that it brings us forward. So if you start a business and we talk about values, it's important that you are aware of checking out your values, and therefore I prepared something in the handout. So working on the values that you have is quite important to choose the right sector in what you want to work, and to choose the right approach to your company. But later on, running the business, you will see it's not possible without compromises. So we have to somehow prepare us for good compromises. Let's make an example. When you have as one of the values that you really are family connected, being with your family, spending time with your family is a high value for you. Then if you choose a job that brings you around the world, that brings you, let's say, 6 months, a year to the foreigner, and you have to leave your family, maybe it's not the best job when you are really having the value of being close to your family. Then maybe you can do that job, but then you should be prepared and ready to accept that you have to have compromises. And that is the important thing, to find the balance. If you start with in the mood like, yes, now I have my super job, and then suddenly you find out, oh, but I have to travel so much, and oh, but I don't want to do that because I want, stop it. So that means check out your values, compare it with the business you want to start, and check out if you can bring it easily in line, or if it's complicated, find the complicated aspects and work on compromises. And that means be ready and be prepared to go for the business. So coming to our last point for today, it's about vision, motivation, and target. And that is really crucial for success. Only if you have a clear vision where you want to go and why, you are ready to go and arrive where you want to go. That sounds maybe easy, but it's a question that you always have to ask yourself again. What is my vision? What is my motivation to come to that vision? And what is my next step, my next target? So starting to talk about those three aspects on the example of Jonas, of new engineering. What was the vision? The vision was 100% renewable energy worldwide. What was the motivation? The motivation was self-efficacy feeling. When I put my own electric power plant on my roof, I'm self-efficient. I feel myself really free. And that is a strong motivation. And bringing that to a lot of people that somehow are also dependent on energy, that was the strong motivation of the new engineering people. And the target is the next step. It's running a first solar power plant in Argentina. That is the target that is really well defined and possible to reach. So coming from 100% renewable energy worldwide to the next step, which is one solar power plant on one roof. So then you have a very good example what I'm talking about. So a very important point is, now we are very motivated and happy with our vision of the company and we want to start immediately. But it's nice to have my vision. But if I start a business, I should be aware of the vision of the market, because in the end, I need consumers. I will develop products, services that somebody needs to buy from me. So I need to get in touch with the vision of the people, of what the market wants. And now it's again a compromise, a balance, bringing my vision together with the vision of the people. Well, you can solve it, of course, with marketing, having a very good marketing and telling the people what they need. And as we know, it's very often how the market works. But I think when we talk about, for example, the project StartUpcycling, there are people running it that are value orientated and social impact orientated. So we need to find our way, being social entrepreneurs or being sustainable entrepreneurs, to bring our vision together with the vision of the market by being fair, being transparent. But it's our responsibility as entrepreneurs, as startup people, to check the market, to find what the market really needs. And if you find out that maybe it's 0.5% of the population of our country that is following the same vision that I follow, maybe it's not the right time to start with that business, and maybe it's better to stay in an initiative or do an NGO or whatever, because then you will never be able to have a healthy business. And that is what we're going for when we talk about business. So, bringing together my personal vision with the vision of the market, it's absolutely a key point. So, I want to close my session with talking about targets and goals, and one little aspect that is very nice also to train in the everyday life. It's about how I name my targets. For example, I can say, I don't want to have fear. I don't want to be frightened. So, what happens? I somehow get away from the situation. I go out of the things I'm afraid of. I even name to be frightened. So my brain is always turning around frightened and I'm afraid and blah, blah, blah. So instead of saying that, I can say, I want to be self-confident, or I want to be strong, or I will pass that situation using my strengths. Then we are approaching to the topic. We are actively solving a situation. No? So just by using this small trick, to confront ourselves with maybe a certain target in a positive approach helps us to focus the energy in the direction where we want to go. It's really simple, like I said. Just using other words, using positive language, we are able to give our energy a certain drive. So test it out in your everyday life by just changing that little words and use a positive language. So the last minutes we were talking about start up a business, but I would prefer to say start up an initiative, because all the things, they come up and they start walking. That means the moment we start to move, the things come up to us. So it's important to move, to start, because mostly we can have thousands of plans, business plans, good ideas what our business will be about, and be sure in the first months so much new challenges come up that you did not expect. So if you are not prepared on the fact that only by walking you will solve the things and you will grow, and that you are somehow expect the unexpected, you have the chance to really be successful. So start up means do the next steps with courage, respecting maybe those 5 aspects that we went through. So this kind of passion, inspiration, fundamentals of your inner being, the clear values we discussed, and finally this clear vision, motivation and targets. If you really summarize these 5 points, no, you can be sure that starting you will come to the thing you personally expect, because only listening the last around 20 minutes to the idea of startup shows that you are interested in doing it. So cross fingers, just go for it, and maybe give us a feedback how it works out. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.